Hello, everyone. Welcome to the graduation of NHL Inspector Training School Class 205. My name is Jeff Webb. I'm the dean of the Inspector Training School. We also have our Executive Director, Dallin Brooks, our Chief Inspector, Mr. Dana Spessert, Roman Machushenko, who's our Instructor and Associate Dean, and we have a guest speaker here with us today, Mr. Wade Nowell. So I'd like to welcome everyone here. We also have our graduates, although you don't have your certificates yet. In 1898, the NHLA was formed to regulate and create the rules for grading hardwood lumber. Since its establishment, the lumber inspector has played a key part in maintaining the rules and grading the lumber and determining the value of the lumber and helping to regulate the sales of hardwood lumber. In 1948, the NHLA started teaching lumber inspection here in Memphis. So we've been teaching lumber inspection since 1948 for 75 years here in Memphis. This location was started in 1980, so we've been teaching for 43 years here at this location. Today we're here to welcome 6 new young men into the ranks of a lumber inspector. It's been a wonderful class, and they're going to be a credit to the industry. So with that, I'm going to turn the microphone over to our Executive Director, Dallin Brooks.
Thank you. It's a pleasure to be speaking here today, and I have all of you here supporting them. Believe it or not, everybody in this room is really happy you graduated. In fact, not just this room, the whole entire industry is happy you graduated. I can attest to you as you look around the walls and you see the pictures of all the different students who have graduated from here, that there is a great body of tradesmen who have taken this class and taken it as a step to their future lives. And there's an entire industry out there waiting for you to continue to make it better and to continue to build upon what you've done here today. So we're going to get into that. So really just want to thank you for taking this time out of your life. 8 weeks, a big sacrifice to come here to Memphis of all places, to learn lumber grading and to really get engaged with the hardwood industry. This is a great stepping stone throughout your career, and it will be a great opportunity for you to benefit from this. I was speaking in Nashville at a conference 2 weeks ago, and I said in the room, this is to the treated wood and utility pole industry, and I said, how many of you are graduates from this class? And 3 men stood up with that they graduated through this class and gone through their pictures on the wall. And they could all tell me their class number and when they graduated and who their instructor was, and they all complained about their instructor. But that's all pre-Roman. So just know that eventually you're going to have to complain about him too. Really just want to give you a brief picture of the entire industry and what you're getting into, because there's a lot going on that takes life, and it's a little bit faster once you get out there to real life. Right? You've been sitting here and you've been picking up boards off the ground and you're tipping them with your toe and you're looking at them, and you spend 5 minutes trying to figure out if that's really a knot or a pin knot or some stain is on the surface or not. And guess what? Real life is a lot quicker. It's about to get fast. It's about to get going. And I said at one of these presentations that I got here at graduation, I said, yeah, you only get 3 seconds per board. And somebody in the back said, you can get 1. So things change quite a bit as you're going forward here. And so we're just trying to get you introduced to that change and what's coming. But it's important to understand the big picture of things. Right? You're sitting there grading boards. But there's a lot of other impacts that we have on this thing and that hardwoods have, because there's railway ties coming out of that center cant. Sometimes that center cant gets turned into pallets and other goods and services. And so it's important to understand not just your role, but the role of the entire hardwood industry, because you are a major part of all your infrastructure. The cell phone you have today and the goods that you get today, you get because of hardwoods, because they're shipped on hardwood pallets. Over 33% of pallets are hardwood pallets. They're shipped on railway ties and by train. 99.99% of ties are hardwood ties, right? We are the industry that provides the transportation infrastructure to get you what you want. All those Amazon boxes, guess what? Most of that wood comes from hardwood residues and surfaces like that. So we have a huge impact on the shipping industry, the infrastructure, the goods you serve. And it goes beyond that, right? Because it really is the floor you walk on, right? The podium I'm standing at, the chairs you're sitting on, the table you eat on, the cabinets that you store your food and things in. You make up people's livelihoods, their houses, their perceptions of everything around them. And so hardwood is an important part of the story. We have this beautiful building here, and we enjoy it looking at all the wood around it, and it makes you actually feel better about people, which is why Roman feels, so good. Because the wood around it makes you think highly of people. But it's true, biophilic design is becoming more and more popular, and as we look at it, I read a study this morning that said in hospital waiting rooms, if you put wood in there, the patients are more patient and happier and think better of the hospital and more willing to work with them and to open up and talk about what they need. And so it's amazing how important hardwood is, because hardwood is appearance. That's what you've been doing. You've been looking at that appearance and how to get the best value and the most appearance out of that. So it's critical. But let's talk about real life and what you're about to face, because you're about to get into all of this and you're about to start having to really go through this. And I don't know what facilities you're going to end up with, or even how many different facilities you might end up with, or where down the road, 30 years, 40 years, 50 years you're going. But there's going to be a lot of different opportunities to grade lumber, to look at it from different perspectives. And you have different things. You have the mills, the concentration yards, the distributors. Grading is important for every step of the way, right? From the loggers, where they buck a log in the forest, the grade of that log and the size that they buck determines the value of those boards down the road. And that all the way through the mill and everywhere else. So it's important to have that. But, there's a lot of things coming on here. And if you have a chance to really look at it and to see what's going on here, you'll see how much faster it really is. And you can do it. Believe you me, you've got the skills now to go out there to start doing it. And it might take you a little bit to get used to it. But the good news is that 100 board run that Roman does is a lot of different species, a lot of different variations. He tries to trick you. Yeah, you're all dying. Okay, because I took the 3-day course. So that's all I got. I got the 3-day course. The first day, I'm like, I got this. Second day, yeah, this is no sweat. Third day, he brought in special exemptions. Yeah, I haven't failed to test, but he still passed me. He knows who writes his checks. There's a lot of different grading stations out there and different things like that. Different styles, how it's going on, different ways. Sometimes you're flipping the board, sometimes they have machines to flip it for you. Sometimes you're just looking at it and it's crossing in front of you and you're at eye level at the back end and you're looking at it. Other times you're walking along the plank and grading it that way. There's so many different ways to grade a board. There is no one best way or one simple way. It's done differently every day. And sometimes you just have to go and pull out the bundle and you're going to break it down and you're going to look at it because you're going to be at somebody's facility as you evaluate whether or not you got it right or wrong and looking at boards. But there's always going to be a need to grade. Grading is an important part of every board. It's an important part of value. It can make or break a company. That's how critical your job is. You determine that value. If you undervalue that wood, then the company's losing money. When the company isn't making money, are they paying you more? Right. Let's get the picture, right? If you overvalue that board and then people are complaining all the time, is the company making money? No. Are the company paying you more? No, you're probably out the door at that point, right? So you got to find this tricky value, this tricky balance of making sure you value that board correctly, following the NHLA rules, and understand that that value means something to them. It means something to you. That board represents you. Once you grade that board, you're part of saying that that board is what it is. And that's important because that's your integrity in that line there and what you have to do. You are now part of this great alumni. The pictures on the wall. I had 2 gentlemen here yesterday visiting us from Atlanta. They flew in, they visited us. Matt McGowan is in that class and he says, I want to go see my picture on the wall. We had a 2-hour meeting across the hall, and at the end of the meeting, the most important thing to him, gotta go see my picture on the wall. He came over and he looked at it and found his name, found his picture, said, that's me. And he was wearing sort of like this from the 70s. Although in the 80s they had mullets. And I got the suit from Wade. He's putting on a nice blue suit, but I'm pretty sure when Wade graduated, he was wearing something this color. You can see it on the wall. The trends are important. And Wade will talk to you about tradition, because tradition is what the NHLA is about, right? Grading is a proud tradition. And I can tell you, there isn't anybody in the room that's more proud of the tradition here than somebody like Wade, who's been through here and knows and respects the tradition of the NHLA. And it's important that we hold on to our traditions. There is changes coming in the future. You're going to see a lot of more automation and other things happening. But as that comes, we still have a chance to be part of it, and we've got things. So you guys, your names are up here. You're part of this tradition. You're now part of the NHLA Inspector Training School alumni. You're part of this. You've accomplished a great goal, and we hope that you realize that this is a great opportunity for you to start your career, whatever it might be. You might want to grade lumber for the rest of your life, so you don't have to talk to people. That's okay, talk to the wood. We can all get away with that. Or you might be like, no way, I want to go up into management and deal with people. I want to go into sales or do something else. These opportunities are still open to you. Anything you want to do is there for you, gentlemen. You have a great career here. We're looking forward to working with you. We hope to see you again at the NHLA, at our conventions, and our board meetings and other places. We had a board meeting here in November. We had the graduate students there at the class. Every one of those students got offered a job by the board members as they went around the room and introduced themselves. And about a third of my board members, so it's about 12 out of the 36, were all alumni from this class. And so it's an important opportunity. You can be business managers, business owners, and make a difference in the hardwood industry and in the world today because of how important your impact is on everything around you. Good luck. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dallin. And we welcome anyone here. We do value and take a lot of pride in our tradition here. Every class that's graduated from Inspector Training School, there are pictures on the wall since 1948. So welcome you to take the time to walk the halls and take a look at the pictures. And so our next speaker is our Chief Inspector, Dana Spesser. Dana, I'm not sure if he really wanted to speak, but he's got some short remarks he'd like to make.
Thank you, Jeff. I'm sure you guys didn't hear enough from me already, right? I did bore them for a half a day, but I have been speaking at these graduations even before I became Chief Inspector from the role I had in my previous career, which is in quality control. And I wanted to start out by saying, does anybody remember a couple years ago, the pandemic? And I'm just going to give you an idea how important our industry is. They came out and said all businesses need to close. And then when we reminded our government that they're not going to have some very specialized paper that they would need, they decided, oh, wait, we're going to let our sawmills run. Because even the waste that comes, what we call waste, is a very valuable product from our industry. There's a lot of other opportunities out there too. We get pellet grills. Everybody that has a pellet grill really appreciates hardwood. They don't really want softwood. And the way I like to explain our industry in a nutshell, softwoods they use to build a building, and we use hardwoods to make it beautiful. So that's really, and Dow had a good point there. There's been studies proving that. So there's a lot of use out there. The railroads wouldn't operate if we didn't have hardwoods out there. But you guys, I was reminded yesterday of how important and how critical your roles are. They're making crane mats. And crane mats, anybody in the industry know, it's a very low grade product that they make them out of. But this group, the gentleman I was talking to, their primary focus is on softwood grading. They asked me to help them because they're like, we're seeing crane mats, we don't know what species are in those crane mats. Because they're specializing in softwoods, which is a monospecies. What you guys learned is the difference in species. You also learned how to identify different species, right? Or at least got an understanding how that works. So the varying species and all, your roles are a lot bigger than you can imagine right now. To Dallin's point, we like to refer to you as accountants in the end of the day because you're counting the money, whether it's by the species and grade or not. You need to know. There's a variation between a black walnut board, FAS, and a 3 common cottonwood. There's a huge difference in what that's worth. And to his point, the company needs to make money. I was just having a discussion with Nick over there. The company's goal is to make money. It's not to make lumber. So if you can value it properly, whether it's the way it's cut or the way it should be cut, that's your job to help that company. Irregardless of anything else, your goal is to help them make more money. So that should be your goal from this day forward. You have the knowledge now. You know, and I've told you, you've got to keep working at it. Because Rich Asher will tell you, we're going to call you a graduate in a little bit. We're not going to call you a lumber inspector, even though you're qualified. You're going to have to keep working. Your job just started, right? I think Nick would probably agree with me on that. He's one of the more recent graduates probably in the room. Well, actually Jeff is.
That's right.
But it's a long road, but you can get anywhere you want to be. I've been to over 36 countries. I'm from West Virginia. This is my alma mater right here. I don't have a college degree, but I took this and went forward with it. You guys can do the same thing. And I look forward to seeing you in the future. Just to Dallas Point, I want to see you at all these meetings. I want to run into you in Jakarta. If you don't know where that's at, anybody know where it's at? Indonesia. I want to run into you in Malaysia. I want to see you guys over there. I'm shipping lumber over here. I came over to make sure my customers happy. You can do that. The future is yours. Grasp it and run with it. So with that, I'm going to let you guys go. I might say something at the end. I always tell every student, so we'll just wait till then. So thank you for listening to me. And thank you all for being here.
So we're gonna change the program a little bit. I'd like to invite Roman to come up and talk for a little bit, and then we'll have Wade as our guest speaker.
Thank you. This is the hardest part of my job, to actually prepare a speech for graduates and then to give it. The second hardest part is just to determine whether it's enough or just a brutal, right? Okay. So, good morning, everybody. Thanks for coming to our graduation today. I'm today out of words already because I've been speaking a lot within the past 8 weeks, and you're probably fed up listening to me, right? But I still want to tell you a couple of things. First, I want to thank your companies, the employers who sent you over to the school. So they must have a lot of trust in you guys, and they now invested a lot of time and money in you. So you better be back at work next Monday and start paying them back for the challenge they gave you. And to acknowledge the companies that sent you over to school, I want to list them. It's Canadian Tree Expert from Massachusetts, Liberty Lumber from Tennessee, Moravia Hardwoods of Iowa, Merrick Hardwoods in Kentucky, Hardwood Industries in Oregon, I love that, and Thompson Appalachian Hardwoods from Tennessee. So, thanks for supporting the school and supporting the industry by sending the students to the school. I also want to thank Mr. Dana Spessert, our Chief Inspector, for his permanent support of the class, and Jeff Webb, the Dean of our school, for making coffee almost every morning, and sometimes even bringing donuts. So thank you, gentlemen. As well as all the NHLA staff for support. Thank you. Thanks, everybody. So it's been a long 8 weeks, very intensive and eventful. So we did a lot of things like memorizing the rules and definitions, drinking coffee, eating donuts, measuring weighings, and grading the boards. Sometimes even taking quizzes and exams and playing chess. So you guys did a really great job, and I'm really honored to be your instructor. So besides all those activities, we also ate really well. So thanks to our caterer, Mr. Wade Nolan, who took really good care of our stomachs. He was smoking all kinds of meats available from Kroger and Costco. So what we ate is actually chicken quarters, St. Louis style ribs, briskets, and many more. I want to also say a few words about Mr. Wade Nolan, who's actually here today as well, and he will be giving a speech in a second. So Mr. Wade is also a graduate of the school, as you probably know. His class number is 16. By the way, this class number is 205. So he graduated this school a few years ago, which was 1976. He also used to serve as a national inspector for several years. So he has a great passion for our wonderful industry and has prepared some memorabilia for you guys to view at that first table. Please check that out after the graduation. Mr. Wade, thank you for all you've done for the industry and for this class. So back to this class that's sitting here in front of me for the last time. So my congratulations to you guys. You did a great job, especially a great job eating all those meats brought by Wade Nolan. Now, just a few pieces of advice before we actually leave this place. So please never stop learning. Work on improving your skills on a daily basis. Take every opportunity to be a better you every day. And so this hardware industry needs smart people like you, and it needs the leaders for tomorrow. And I have no doubts that in a few years you will be managing or running your own companies, and some of you already are, right? One more thing, please just keep in touch with each other, because someday in the future you may start doing business with each other. Just be careful. Okay? And keep in touch with NHLA. So we here at NHLA, we badly want to hear your success stories. So feel free to call or email me or anybody within NHLA, or if you happen to be in this area, which I doubt you ever want to come back, but please come by and say hi to your old instructor. Please make sure that you, when you become general managers or owners of your companies, keep sending your employees to the school and set us some number for the board runs, okay? And last but not least, I'm sorry, there's no more board runs today, okay? So congratulations and thank you very much.
And now I should mention, I mentioned before walking the halls here, looking at the pictures, if you'd like, we have our Director of Development, John Hester, in the back. And John would be more than willing to give you a tour of this building and the building across the street. Not across the street, across the way. It's an amazing place. All of the hardwood was donated by the industry. Each of the offices has a different species of hardwood. It's just a beautiful place to work. So you're more than welcome to tour the entire place. So our next speaker is our guest speaker, Mr. Wade Nolan. Wade, I'll let you take it from there.
I don't think I need a microphone, but hopefully I won't blow it out. This is a guy, today is about you guys. It's not about me. It's not about our wonderful chief inspector, our great executive director, not about John Hester or Taylor Swift sitting in the back there. Anyway, I teased her about that when I first time I saw her. Very sweet lady. She's Dahlman's executive secretary, if I understand correctly. Okay, my wife told me to keep it short and sweet, and she let me borrow her coffee cup. It's a grenade. It says complaint department, type a number, and it's got one number on it. So she asked me the other day, she had that coffee cup in her hand and said, "Is there anything that I do that doesn't please you?" And I said, "Honey, you are close enough to perfect for me." And we left it at that. Okay, now, we're gonna go into a little bit. I graduated in 1976 at the old school. They had broken ground and already bought the property here. I could talk for hours. This building, when this building was built, we were in one of the best hardwood markets ever. Costs were low. Timber was low. Cost of the mill was low. And lumber was sky high. This building was paid for lock, stock, and barrel by the members of the National Hardwood Lumber Association when they opened the doors. Thank you to all those people that gave so generously that you can see their names on the plaque. I've got a plaque out here. I was a young hardwood lumber inspector. Didn't have a lot of money, a 55 Chevrolet that I had at one time, 4-door. And the gentleman that trained me, Mr. Gene Thompson, Mr. Thompson, where did I put mine? There it is. Okay. Mr. Thompson, I'm gonna tell you a few stories about him and how he molded me and made me into a lumber inspector, okay? When you leave here, you're supposed to have a great grasp of the rules, okay? You're not a hardwood lumber inspector. You're not there. You're ready to be the best you can be. Work with as many hardwood lumber inspectors as you can. Butt heads with them. Cut boards. Now, Mr. Thompson, when he trained me, he said, the best training I ever got, Wade, he said, was separating 3A common from 3B oak. The hardwood lumber buyers from the flooring companies would come to the mill and do a mutual inspection. He said, Wade, if you can tell 2A, or 2 common then, it wasn't 2A, that they changed that, but same thing today. If you can tell a 2 common from a 3A common red oak, FAS 1 common is no problem. No problem. Anybody can grade a clear board. If you want to get good, go through a pile of lumber. Go through a pile of lumber that's flooring and separate 3A from 3B, Dana. Am I right? If you can separate 2A from 2B, poplar, you're on the road. All the rest will take care of itself. And, okay, so, I am so honored to be here. I didn't say that. I want to thank everyone. I'm excited about Donald Brooks, the executive director. I'm excited about the best chief inspector that we may have ever had. And most of the chief inspectors are a little bit mean, but Dana's, he's just a nice guy. But I'm sure he can be mean when he needs to. His wife keeps him sweet, I guess. She's a wonderful lady. And Roman, thank you for working so hard with the students. And thank you for, Roman is exceptionally smart guy. And everybody at the NHLA has been incredibly gracious to me. I thank you all for that. I really do. Everybody's got opinions. I've got opinions. So, that's the way life goes. And so I want to give a shout out to the people that helped me, just a few people in my career. Gene Thompson, we started, I went down to Albany, Georgia. They flew me down. Mine was a 14-week class in '76. No one in my family had been in the hardwood lumber business. My mom said I had gone through 2 years of forestry. Nobody kind of mentioned to me that you're supposed to study in college. And so I don't have a college degree. All my brothers and sisters do, and I'm the only one that owns a business, so whatever. Anyhow, it's kind of interesting how that works sometimes. But Mom said, she told me, she said, son Gooch, the Gooch family, one of the most famous families ever in the hardwood lumber industry, C.M. Gooch, he survived the Depression. One of the wise, he was, oh my goodness, I'll tell you stories last for hours. But anyway, Mom said, son Gooch, they had a little mill around Weir, Mississippi, Crosstown Mill, and she said, besides their large mill, she said, son told Daddy that, I was 2 years of college and my dad did not feed you for free. Old school, he told me that, never forget one thing, he said, sons, the lesson you remember in life are the ones you have to pay for. Daddy was not happy about my college career at all. He had paid for everything. He said, look, son, I'm gonna give you one more chance, okay? Because I talked to Mom, she told me about the school. I said, wow, go 14 weeks and get a good job? I'm in. And so Dad paid the $350 for the 14 weeks. He paid all my room and board. And the rest is history. I graduated under Ralph Out the Door Bolton. Ralph Out the Door Bolton. Mr. Bolton was from Pennsylvania and taught with a Pennsylvania brogue. I was sitting on the front row one day. Never forget this. And there's one in every class that when you have the correct grade, he's going to find, and he's going to scratch till he gets down in the concrete, and he's going to find a pen knot. I don't know who that is. I do know who it is in this class, but I'm not going to name any names. I don't want to embarrass anybody. You should be ashamed of yourself. No, I'm just kidding. But anyway, the class and the real world are, it's like going to college. Then you go out and you work in the real world. Some of you have graded. Landon is actually 18 years old, and he's a sawyer at his dad's walnut mill. How amazing. When I came here, I didn't know pine from hardwood. Nothing. I later found out that my great-grandfather had been one of the best timber cruisers in the state of Kentucky. Didn't even know that till I've been in the lumber business for years. Okay, so let me tell you a few stories. I go down to Albany, Georgia, and I'm interviewing. They fly me down. I got a suit. I have a suit for a interview as a hardwood lumber inspector. And I thought you had to wear a suit because I didn't know anything about the hardwood business. I'd just been to school. Well, I found out you actually don't have to wear a suit. But anyway, so what happened was Mike Douglas, anybody old enough to remember Mike Douglas, one of the first talk shows on TV, was on the plane going down to interview Billy, who had just come out with Billy Beer, President Carter's brother. And his manager took my suit. All I had left was blue jeans to go to a interview to be a hardwood lumber inspector. How crazy is that? So anyway, I had the proper clothing on. I'm sitting down. Mr. Sam Davis and Gene Thompson are interviewing me. I thought I knew something. I lacked about 4 or 5 weeks in the school. Nick Thompson, hi buddy. And I knew Nick's granddad. I worked for him. But anyway, and so I said, Mr. Davis, I wanted to impress him on the interview. And I thought I knew a lot, and I knew nothing. I said, and Gene was sitting to the right of me, Mr. Davis looking straight at me. And Mr. Davis was incredibly successful, made a lot of money. And I said, Mr. Davis, I'm going to grade your lumber right, and you're never going to get a claim on me. Gene Thompson stuck his finger in my face. He said, son, if we don't get a claim on you, you are giving our lumber away. Okay, when I would put out lumber to the dry yard, he said, Wade. Now, Will, one of the pullers who had one arm, one hand, he was one of the best lumber stackers. I don't care if it was corkscrew, it would be a beautiful pack when he got through with it. He'd pull with his right hand and shove it in with the nub. He got his hand cut off in a logging accident when they had circle saws on machines that used to cut down trees, but that was way back in, I don't know, Will was old when I went to work. Okay, so I was struggling. I knew the rules, but I was struggling. And so Will came to me one day and he says, Wade? I said, yeah, what's going on, Will? He said, Mr. Gene came out here and he told me that he didn't think you was going to make it. I told him, I said, Mr. Gene, he's trying hard. He's working hard. Just give him a little more time. He'll make it. I said, man, thank you, Will. So Mr. Brooks, 78 years old, he was a retired lumber inspector that his wife, after he retired, told him to quit climbing the walls, get out and go back to the sawmill. He stayed as long as he could. He was 78. He came to me one day. I was grading on the chain. I was running about grading. Back then, everybody graded from the middle of the board. Everybody. and I was grading on the chain. It would come out of the back of the mill, and then it would come on the chain. And you could slow it down depending on how the grade was running. If you have all 3A and 3B, you gotta slow that chain down. Okay, now most mills today, they don't slow down anymore, but that's another story. If you wanna discuss that, go to my Facebook page. I run Hardwood Lumber Inspectors. Mark Bear runs NHLA Lumber Inspectors and Graders, so there's two of them. But see, you can talk to yourself after you leave the school. Man, when I got out of school, there wasn't even, cell phones were, that was like Jetson, George Jetson on the Jetsons, the comic, just something out of outer space. But we've changed a lot. We tallied when we got out here. But anyway, so I'm going to tell you a few stories. Gene just said, when I started grading with him, he said, I did the tallying. I was good at making dots when I came here. I could do that good. But he'd say, if you think I missed one, you just call me. You just call it. We'll stop the chain. We'll cut it. All right. That's a 2. Stop the chain. Number 1 by 1 unit. He told me that a good lumber inspector, an expert lumber inspector is what he said, is a combination of speed, accuracy, and ability to remanufacture. I keep looking at Dana. He keeps nodding his head, so I'm doing good, trying to anyway. And so I never will forget this. I mean, I struggled, I worked, I studied the rules. I got into an argument one time with a guy, been there 40 years. He didn't believe me about sound cuttings on the back, and he had this kind of weird misinterpretation. That's what the school is about, keeping the rules even, everybody interpreting correctly. Okay, so I wrote Gordon Bullard a letter, the chief inspector. I got it back. I handed it. I said, Mr. Pete, I said, I'm gonna write Mr. Bullard, the chief inspector, a letter about what we talked about sound cuttings. I said, you might be right. I think you might be right. I knew it was wrong. And so these old lumber inspectors of 40 years, they got a lot of pride. They really took great pride in their work, not just, it wasn't a play game. Okay, by the way, you stole my line, Dan. You are the accountant for the sawmill. If you ever want to move up, okay, first become a great hardwood lumber inspector. Not good. Not good. Become great. Don't ever think you're the best. There'll always be somebody better than you. But when I got on a panel with people after I picked up a few things, my knees never knocked. Gene told me, he said, I'm going to tell you a little trick when you do a re-inspection. I said, what's that? He said, don't call them unless you know they're wrong. And he said, you beat them on 5 boards, they won't say another word, like a whip puppy. Well, that's true. Psychological. Okay. Lumber inspection is not a perfect science. It isn't. Okay? But it's mathematical. But when you get speed involved, you have to become good to spot the cuttings. It's all about spotting cuttings. That's what it's about. Now, Gene stopped me one day in 1978. Stop the chain, son. Stop it. What do you call that board? 2A. He said, cut it. It made common by 1 unit. 1 unit. I knew I was going to win that one. I knew it. So he said, flip it over. What's the grade? Number 1 common, Gene. He said, okay, because I had a money chart in the back of the book, Dan. I had a money chart. I had to know if we could afford to make a cutoff. I had to make so much money if I ripped it or cut it off. Every load we had, we remanufactured for higher value, if it would pay to do that. If not, you leave it alone. If you make a nickel, it costs, every time a man handles a board, it costs money. It's all about money. Mills do have to make money. They do. That's big time. All right, so anyway, he says, how much did you cost the company on that board? I said, $3.50. That's 1978. Now that's $10 today probably, I'm guessing. He said, multiply that time a whole truckload of lumber. Okay, so fast forward, I got a call. I went from there to Low Lumber Sales, Morrison Low, incredible guy. It's now Hermitage Hardwoods, Parker Bowles, if anybody knows him. And got a call one day. Wade, would you be interested in working for the association? I didn't know what an honor it was, had no clue. I said, yes, I'd love to come talk to him. Mr. Bill White was the manager. They were over on Summer Avenue, excuse my French, right next to the strip club. Well, there's a strip club, then a Firestone, and then the building they were in on the top floor. And Mr. Bill White was the executive director. And I interviewed, he said, okay, you go work with James White, go work with him for a week, and he'll tell me if you can work for the association or not. I said, okay. So I graded, Mr. White drove a Mercedes-Benz green as a lumber inspector. He had about Virginia Brogue, great guy, and boy was he good. Whew, he was a assistant chief. Anyway, we got together Wednesday morning. I was supposed to grade all week. He graded a pile, I graded a pile on Monday and Tuesday. He said, Wade, I've seen enough. Go back home, get your stuff together. They'll call you and tell you where to be Monday morning. You're hired. Great honor, great honor. Coming from that man too. Was sitting in the front seat during class one day, and Ralph walks up. I started to tell my story. My wife said, keep this short and sweet. Honey, I know you're watching, so forgive me. But anyway, we were, Ralph's favorite thing was when he called the grade, the teacher, and he said it was a 1, you sat down and you shut up or you were kicked out of class. And he got a few big hardwood lumber inspector companies mad when he kicked their son out. And when he kicked you out, you were out. You wasn't coming back. So anyway, he was, but he comes in, we are graded, everybody, we got the grade. The assistant teacher, Jeff Carlson, was there. Okay, we settled it, we fought over it, and so he comes in and says, let me see that board. He starts, no. And I'm sitting on the front row. His favorite saying is, out the door. That's it. Don't worry. So he's got his back turned, and he's, let me see what I can get out of it. I said, out the door. Who said that? Total silence. Nobody ratted on me, because I'd have been gone that day, I guarantee you. Okay. Anyway, I graded lumber one time. I went to a company for the NHLA. It was a huge band mill with two 8-foot head rigs and 1 or 2 6-foot resaws, sawing amazing lumber. They said, we want you to put a national certificate on 3 chain car loads of white oak. At that time, the market was hotter than a pistol. It was 79. FAS was $400 above common. $400, yeah, there was a premium of $400 on FAS, but there was a $400 difference with the premium and everything between what common bring. This was kill dry. I said, okay, what do you want me to do with the 2 and 3 I found? Oh, you won't find anybody. Our lumber inspectors have already graded it. I laid out between 3 chain car loads about 18,000 feet of facing better. No joke. That's not good, Nick. That's bad. Anyway, I figured the money value, it was over $20,000. The forklift driver, when I had 3 or 4 boards left on the 3, he was laughing his head off. Big jovial guy, big guy, and he says, I got off the pile and I said, what are you laughing at? He says, well, you remember when the manager came down the first day you were here? He said, yeah. I said, yeah, I remember. He got on the pile with me and watched me grade lumber for about 30 minutes or less. We talked about grading, you know. He said, well, I told him you were laying out about every 3rd or 4th board. He said, the NHLA sent me the worst inspector they have. I'm going to go run that boy off right now. And I saw him running across the yard to me. He jumped on the pile and then left after 30 minutes. He said, I asked him today, I said, and excuse me if I sound like I'm bragging, but anyway, thank you, Gene Thompson. But he said, I asked him today, I said, what do you think about that boy now? He said, well, they sent me the fastest and the best lumber inspector they had. So, anyway, but you are counting money. You are counting money. And remember that. It's so important. If you want to really establish yourself in the hardwood lumber business, first, be the best lumber inspector you can be. To go into daddy's office after 2 weeks on the chain is a mistake. It's a mistake. You need to be the best money counter in the world. That's so important. The most profitable hardwood sawmills that I have ever seen are the ones that the owner is an expert hardwood lumber inspector. Expert. Okay, shout out Gene Thompson, who trained me, Morrison Lowe Lumber Sales, worked for him. Mr. Bill Courtney, Classic American Hardwoods, one of the sharpest men I ever met in my life. Gordon Bullard, Chief Inspector when I started. Ralph Bolton, his assistant Jeff Carlton, where I graduated. Johnny Gooch. Kermit Nolan, the best hardwood lumber salesman that ever walked the face of the earth. And Mary Jane, his sweet wife. My parents, Bruce Neesmith, who wrote this book. This is one of the great gifts of the hardwood lumber industry. Hardwood, sawmills, and lumber yards. Improve your profits. It's fresh off the press. Get your one from Amazon. Don't ever stop learning. Don't ever stop trying to be the best. I want to thank everyone at the association for inviting me for the class, agreeing that they wanted me. It's one of the greatest honors of my life. And I want to thank my Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ. Without him, I would be nothing. And I'm going to leave you with this thought. Well, I'm going to read a poem real quick, and then I'll leave you with a thought. I started in forestry, and one thing common among lumbermen is we love the forest, and we want to preserve the forest for future generations. Joyce Kilmer was killed in World War I at the age of 31 or 32. He wrote this poem, I think I shall never see a poem as lovely as a tree whose hungry mouth is pressed against the earth's sweet flowing breast, a tree that looks at God all day and lifts her leafy head to pray, a tree that may in summer wear a nest of robins in her hair, upon whose bosom the snow has lain, who intimately lives with rain. Poems are made by fools like me, but only God can make a tree. Only God. We are in the only industry, Donald, that has a replenishable resource. We are in the only industry in the world that has a replenishable resource. Lumbermen have more interest in forests being there for future generations and providing the benefits of those forests to the world than anyone. They really do. We are the original conservationists, the lumber industry. Now, we made a few mistakes in the beginning. That's okay, but you know, we've definitely built this country. We've definitely built this country. Study the rules. Become the best you can be. And I'll leave you with this thought. Guys, be the best employee you can be the best. Be the person, be the lumber inspector that you would want to hire if you were the boss. Thank you.
Thank you, Wade. Each class nominates a president for the class, and this year it's Mr. Jesse Sexton from Merrick Hardwoods, and Jesse's gonna give a little speech.
Made it a little shorter than what it was going to be. First, I'd like to start by saying it's been an honor to be the president of NHLA Inspector Training Class 205. I consider it to be one of the greatest accomplishments of my life so far. I'd like to thank everyone working here for all that you've done for us, but mostly Roman. I'm sure you know you're a great inspector, but even more so, you're a great teacher. I'd like to thank you for laying out a simple plan, not easy, but it was simple. And making this class as fun as it was challenging. I do believe that myself, along with everyone else's success here, is great as a direct result of the outstanding job that you do to deliver the information and then work with us daily to get it to take root. So again, thank you. To my class, congratulations everybody, top 10. You did it. I encourage you all to see this as a beginning and not an end, as a new chapter starting rather than a chapter being finished. I'm confident that everyone here, as we part ways back to our places of work, has the opportunity to build on this solid foundation we have worked so hard the last 8 weeks for, and become great inspectors. I hope you continue to study, cut out tough boards when necessary, never take shortcuts, and always commit to a standard and quality of work that speaks for itself and for yourself. Whether you're going back to sales, a sawyer, running a sawmill, supervising, or actually grading, take all the tools that you were given here and simply improve what you can in the hardwood lumber industry. I enjoyed getting to know all of you and took many good memories from this experience with me. Cody, you've been my lunch buddy since the jump. But on a more serious note, I'm proud to call you a friend. You're an awesome dude, and I'm blessed to have met you. And all your future affairs, just know that as long as you give it your all and your best, that's going to be more than enough. I truly believe you're going to do great things, and I hope your mill knows how awesome of a grader they just gained. Carlos, wow. Dude, you showed up and learned everything that we knew, that we had so much more time to work with Roman in 2 weeks. And you're getting to sit here with us today instead of sitting up there in the stands, man. So I hope that everyone where you work knows how hard you worked after you got here to be able to do this. And I'm glad I got to know you for the last couple of weeks, man, for real. I don't know how hard it would have been I don't think I could have done what you done. I mean, I stressed as it was, and I was here every day, so congratulations. Alex, I really enjoyed teaching you how to play chess and, the last couple months. I know you're going back to a smaller mill than what some of us are, but if you continue to strive for excellence in everything you do as you did here, the sky's the limit for Canadian tree experts. And I mean that. I foresee many years of high quality products coming from the mill that you work at. Landon, I hope you truly understand what a gift your young age is. Yes, we gave you a hard time about it, but let me be the first to tell you how awesome it is that you're 18, a head sawyer, and a nationally recognized NHLA lumber inspector. And you was a great young man to get to know. You have your entire life ahead of you and an outstanding start to it. Most people don't have a clue what they are interested in doing in life at 18. let alone a title to go behind their name. Keep working hard and chasing dreams, but remember, you're still young. Make time for the fun things in your life as well. Austin, you're extremely smart. I nerd, as Cody would say. But that's okay. It's not really being a nerd. It's trying your best in all that you do. That is a great quality in you. I'm positive whether you stay in sales or you move into grading of lumber, that you're going to be great at whatever you end up doing. But you have an even bigger new beginning coming up. You're about to be a dad. My best farewell advice to you is this. If you put the same effort into being a dad as you did as trying to be the best here, your son and your wife are going to be blessed with a good life. I know this class was to further your career and possibly make you more money, like all of us. But from a father to a father, more money can always be made and acquired. Time and love cannot. Never forget that. So I wish each of you the best of luck and success, not only for your careers, but in life as well. And again, it's been an honor being your president and your classmate. As for myself and my career, I'm making a promise to myself and Merritt to never settle for anything less than being the best I can be, and to never stop learning. With experience comes knowledge, and I plan to build on both of those for many years to come. I hope God blesses you and your lives and your career, each one of you. Thank you.
You know, each class, before we hand out the certificates, we also have another tradition, and that's to hand out awards for various accomplishments for the students. So I'm going to ask Roman to come up and hand out those awards, and then after the awards, we'll hand out the certificates.
We'll see.
We'll see. I'm sorry, pretty much we'll see.
Thank you, Chad. This is fun time now. Yeah. So you guys have been asking me who did the best, what's the overall score, and blah blah blah. And I told you you will learn that on the graduation day. So that's about the time to do that. So we have quite a few awards here. But for now, you will only get an envelope, okay? And then in a couple of weeks from now, you will get a wood plaque with your accomplishments, right? So in the first one, I want to acknowledge, here is the first award is the Lumbermen's Club of Memphis Most Improved Award. It is awarded to the student who has demonstrated the most improvement from the start of the program through graduation. So this gentleman will get a $100 check and an engraved plaque. And as I told you, the engraved plaque will come later in mail. And a couple more words about the Lumbermen's Club of Memphis. That was established in 1898. It's one of the oldest forest products industry trade organizations in the US and has been instrumental in the development, location, and progress of the NHLA inspection school. So this award, Most Improved Award, goes to Mr. Carlos Santos. You want more? Okay. So the next one is the Milk Coal Award. It's for the best attitude and citizenship. Awarded to the student who displays the best attitude and citizenship consistent with NHLA principles. That goes to the state of Massachusetts with Alice Berger. so next one is the award for the highest board run average. It includes $75 check and engraved plaque. And guess who did that? Yes, highest board run average, yes. Mr. Alex, again. Next one is the Howard Hanlon Award for the second highest overall average. It includes $150 check, engraved plaque, and one of Hanlon's books, Delta Harvest. And that goes to Mr. Austin C. Mary. And number one, Inspector Training School Educational Foundation. It is the highest overall average. $250 check and engraved plaque. It goes to that guy again, Alex Bergeron. That's it.
You want to go on to the certificates?
Already time?
It's time. Danny, do you want to come up? So why don't you go hand out the certificates?
Uh-huh.
Danny will hand out the.
And then in the order of the appearance. Okay.
I'll give them this
Everything else in the thanks. Say a couple of words about these cards.
Oh, yeah. We started doing this several years ago because in most other things out there in the world, people try to copy what you guys worked hard for. So we get you a little card that's basically your certificate in plastic that you can have with you. And somebody says, "Are you a lumber inspector?" You can pull that card out and say, "Absolutely, I'm a lumber inspector." So don't let anybody take it out of your hand because we don't want them copying this. But this is your proof that you can carry with you, as well as certificate you're gonna get right here.
You're not going to carry this with you, right?
Yeah, this will be much easier to carry.
Okay, here's the certificate time. Along with this, you'll get your final report card, and then you will find out actually what the numbers are. Okay? So let me just read what we have here on the certificate. So that this person attended the 205th class of the NHLA Inspector Training School and satisfactorily completed the course of instruction in the rules for the measurement and inspection of hardwood lumber and their practical applications. Awarded at the National Hardwood Lumber Association in Memphis, Tennessee on March 1st, 2024. And this first certificate goes to Alex Bergeron.
Thank you. Thank you. Am I going this way?
Put that away and do that. That's a pen that you can wear proudly to any meeting you go to. Show people where you came from.
Thank you. Congratulations.
Next gentleman here is Mr. Cody Evans.
You ready to picture taken so many times?
No.
Congratulations, proud of you.
Thanks, Joe.
This one's goodies for you.
Thank you.
I wasn't sure if I want to give this certificate to this guy because he was supposed to come to another 8 weeks and then he would get it. Okay, you get it today. Mr. Landon Leffler.
Stick around for the assistant job. Congratulations.
next gentleman, he has already been awarded for his job, or his hard job, and he was trying hard and did a great job again. And he actually did the online training, struggled a little bit over there, but then within the last 3 weeks, as he showed up, he did great improvement. I'm really impressed. And you already got your certificate, but now it's Carlos Santos.
Congratulations.
This next one does not need any further introduction. It's Mr. President of the class, Jesse Sexton. Who's left here? This one here is expert in 3A special ill, Mr. Austin C. Mary.
Congratulations. Thanks, Gary. Thank you.
It's too bad you're leaving today, guys. You sure you don't want to stay for another 8 weeks? No, just 3, 4, no? All right, thank you.
Thank you, Jeff. Jeff said go ahead and wrap it up. So I like to leave the students with one final thought. As my late father told me, he's a graduate from 1962. I'm a graduate from 1986. And my son's a graduate of COVID year, 2020. I'd like to let you know what my dad told me, and I tell the graduates. If you follow the rules, you can't be wrong. Wade also mentioned that defects are going to be your hardest thing to determine. But if you follow the rules, even if you miss the defects, you're not wrong. Your opinion's going to matter. Now, I know from being married for many years, your opinion doesn't matter maybe as much at home, but it's definitely going to matter on the board. So keep in mind, everything we said here is great information for you. You guys can be anything you really work hard to do. And I'm so proud of all of you, and I really wish you the best future. And I've never heard such a great speech, never seen as many tears brought out. Even myself, I'm sitting there tearing up from your speech. So thank you for that. Very inspirational. Thank you guys. Thank everybody for being here.
We've got a reception in the room next door. We'd like to welcome everyone to come join us for some light snacks and.
Photography staying around for a while, so feel free to take them.
Yeah, so we have a photographer here, so feel free to take pictures with family and friends.
This is out of order, I apologize. Mr. John Donnelly, one of the finest woodworkers in Memphis, donated this one to Roman and this one to the school. He makes weave, cutting boards, does everything. Wood is wonderful, it really is. Thank you, John, for doing that, appreciate it.
So thank you all for coming. Let's eat.